Collision of worlds. The stellar cartography display flickered with an unexpected anomaly. Kiran Novak leaned closer, her cybernetic eye augmentation zooming into the holographic projection. Something wasn't right. Starfall Station's observation deck hummed with the quiet efficiency of deep space research. Outside the reinforced viewports, countless stars glimmered against the infinite black canvas, each one a potential mystery waiting to be mapped. Kiran's fingers danced across the holographic interface, recalibrating sensors. The anomaly persisted, a spatial distortion that didn't match any known stellar phenomenon. Her breath caught in her throat. After 5 years of mapping unexplored galactic regions, she knew when something truly extraordinary appeared. "System, enhance Quadrant 7 Delta," she commanded. The hologram zoomed, revealing intricate energy patterns that defied conventional physics. The distortion wasn't just random interference. It was structured. Intentional. A soft chime interrupted her concentration. "Incoming transmission," the station's AI announced in its neutral tone. Kiran hesitated. Transmissions this far from the core systems were rare. Most stellar cartographers worked in isolated silence, their only companions being advanced computer systems and the endless expanse of space. "Accept transmission," she responded, adjusting her lightweight communication headset. Static crackled. Then, a sound unlike anything she'd ever heard, a complex harmonic resonance that seemed to vibrate through her very bones. It wasn't language. Not exactly. But it was communication. The holographic display erupted with new data. Something was emerging from the spatial distortion. Something massive. A spacecraft materialized, if materialized was even the right word. It seemed to fold into existence, its hull composed of what looked like liquid metal that constantly shifted and realigned. No straight lines. No predictable geometry. Just an organic, almost living structure that defied every known principle of spacecraft design. Kiran's augmented eye began analyzing. Composition unknown. Energy signatures off the charts. Size approximately 3 times larger than a standard interstellar research vessel. "Incoming transmission," the AI repeated, its tone now carrying a hint of urgency. Before Kiran could respond, alarms blared. The station's defensive systems detected an unknown entity. Proximity alerts screamed across multiple communication channels. The alien vessel wasn't just approaching. It was merging with Starfall Station's outer hull. Would you like me to continue the first part of the story? I can elaborate further on the initial encounter and build more tension around Kiran's first contact with this mysterious alien spacecraft. Fragments of resistance. The hull breach was unlike anything Kiran had ever witnessed. Instead of violent rupture or explosive decompression, the alien vessel seemed to dissolve and merge with Starfall Station's metallic skin, creating a mesmerizing dance of molecular reconstruction. Emergency protocols kicked in. Red warning lights pulsed through the station's corridors. Automated defense systems charged, but something prevented them from engaging, as if the alien technology was speaking a language the station's computers couldn't comprehend. Kiran's hand instinctively reached for the emergency beacon. Her fingers hovered over the activation switch, but something stopped her. Curiosity burned brighter than fear. The station's AI, typically calm and precise, now sounded almost confused. Structural integrity compromised. Unknown molecular reconfiguration in progress. Unable to determine threat level. A low vibration began to resonate through the station. Not a sound, exactly, but a sensation that seemed to penetrate beyond physical barriers. Kiran felt it in her bones, in the cybernetic implants that connected her nervous system to the station's networks. Then, silence. Absolute silence. The emergency lights froze. The constant hum of machinery ceased. For a moment, the entire station existed in a singular, suspended breath. A figure materialized in the observation deck. Not through a doorway. Not through a conventional transport system. The being simply appeared. Taller than a human, but not impossibly so. Its body seemed to shimmer, as if composed of thousands of microscopic particles that constantly realigned. No clear gender. No clear species distinction. Just a presence that demanded attention. Carthan, the being spoke. The word wasn't spoken in any traditional sense. It resonated directly within Kieran's mind, bypassing her ears, translating instantaneously. Kieran stood motionless. Her augmented eye ran countless scans, collecting data with millisecond precision. Composition, unknown. Energy signature, unprecedented. Linguistic patterns, incomprehensible yet somehow familiar. You are the observer, the being continued. Not a question. A statement. Kieran found her voice. I'm Kieran Novak. Stellar cartographer. Who are you? A sound emerged, something between a laugh and a mathematical equation. Labels are primitive constructs. I am a fragment. We are convergence. The being, the fragment, moved without moving. Its form rippled, revealing glimpses of complex internal structures that seem to exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Your species stands at a critical juncture, the fragment declared. Observation is no longer sufficient. Intervention becomes necessary. Kieran's training kicked in. Years of diplomatic protocols, first contact scenarios, xenological studies, all compressed into split-second decision-making. Intervention, she asked carefully. What does that mean? The fragment's form shifted, displaying holographic representations that exploded across the observation deck. Star systems. Galactic migration patterns. Technological progression curves. Biological evolutionary tracks. Humanity approaches a threshold, the fragment explained. Your technological development is exponential. Your biological adaptability is unprecedented. But your collective consciousness remains fragmented. Images flashed, war zones, environmental destruction, technological marvels, moments of profound human compassion. A kaleidoscope of human existence compressed into milliseconds. We have watched, the fragment continued. We have calculated. Your potential is both your greatest strength and your most significant vulnerability. Kieran's augmented eye struggled to process the data flood. Quantum computational algorithms ran wild, trying to make sense of the information being presented. What do you want? She asked. The fragment's form condensed, becoming more defined. Not what you might expect. Not conquest. Not destruction. Something far more complex. A tendril of energy extended from the fragment, touching Kieran's communication implant. Instantly, her mind was flooded with information, glimpses of civilizations rising and falling, technological breakthroughs, evolutionary leaps. A test, the fragment declared. A negotiation. A potential alliance. Before Kieran could respond, alarms blared throughout the station. Something was breaching the outer quantum shields. Multiple energy signatures, distinctly different from the fragment's technology. They have found us, the fragment said, its tone shifting from contemplative to something resembling urgency. Who? Kieran asked. The disruptors. Those who would prevent evolutionary progression. Those who maintain entropy through systematic suppression. The station shuddered. Not from physical impact, but from some form of dimensional stress. The fragment turned toward Kieran, its form becoming more solid. You will be our bridge. Our translator. Our potential salvation. Would you like me to continue the story with the next part? I can elaborate further on the emerging conflict and the mysterious disruptors mentioned by the fragment. Forgotten protocols. The station's quantum shields flickered like a dying heartbeat. Whatever was approaching possessed technology that defied conventional understanding, energy signatures that seemed to punch holes through dimensional boundaries. "Prepare yourself," the fragment warned, its form becoming a swirling vortex of complex geometric patterns. Kieran's training kicked in. She accessed the station's emergency systems, her cybernetic implants interfacing directly with the central computer. AI, initiate maximum defensive protocols. Silence. No response. The fragment's form pulsed with an almost sympathetic energy. "Your technological infrastructure has been neutralized. The disruptors specialize in systemic paralysis." Outside the observation deck's reinforced windows, space itself began to ripple. Not like a heat mirage or a gravitational distortion. This was different. Reality seemed to fold and unfold, creating impossible geometries that hurt the human eye to comprehend. 3 massive vessels emerged. They weren't constructed. They looked grown, organic machines that defied every principle of spacecraft design. Their hulls shifted between solid and liquid states, covered in what appeared to be intricate biological circuitry that pulsed with malevolent intelligence. "The Entropy Collective," the fragment explained, its voice a complex harmonic that resonated through Kieran's mind. "Civilization destroyers. Evolutionary suppressors." Kieran's augmented eye began rapid analysis. Each vessel was approximately 3.7 kilometers long. Composition, part organic, part technological, with energy readings that suggested quantum entanglement far beyond current human understanding. "Why are they here?" Kieran asked, her hand unconsciously moving to the emergency weapon system, a quantum disruptor pistol designed for deep space emergencies. The fragment's response was cryptic. "You are the potential. The bridge. The variable they seek to eliminate." A beam of pure darkness, if darkness could be a weapon, lanced toward the station. The fragment moved, not by physical motion but by fundamental rearrangement of spacetime. A shield formed around Kieran, a complex lattice of energy that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. "Your species stands at a critical evolutionary threshold," the fragment continued. "Humanity's potential terrifies the Entropy Collective. Your ability to adapt. To transform. To reimagine existence itself." The station shuddered. Entire sections began to detach, pulled by forces that defied conventional physics. But instead of destruction, there was a sense of calculation. Precise. Methodical. "They do not seek to destroy," the fragment explained. "They seek to stagnate. To prevent potential." Kieran's mind raced. Her years of stellar cartography suddenly felt like child's play compared to the cosmic drama unfolding around her. The Entropy Collective wasn't just attacking a space station. They were attempting to suppress something fundamental. A holographic interface erupted around them, star charts, biological progression models, technological development curves. Humanity's potential laid bare in intricate, multidimensional representations. "You are an anomaly," the fragment told her. "Your neural augmentations. Your specific genetic configuration. You represent a potential pathway of evolutionary progression that the collective cannot predict." Another dark energy beam struck the station. But instead of destroying, it seemed to be extracting. Pulling data. Analyzing. They want something, Kieran realized. Not just destruction. Information. The fragment's form flickered. Not information. Potential. A sudden realization struck Kieran. The station wasn't just a research facility. It was a carefully constructed observation point. A bridge between humanity's current state and something more. "What am I to you?" she asked the fragment. "A key," came the response. "A possibility." The Entropy Collective's vessels began to converge. Space itself seemed to groan under the weight of their approach. Dimensional boundaries stretched and warped. Kieran gripped her quantum disruptor. Whatever was coming, she would not be a passive participant. The fragment's energy swirled around her, a protective cocoon that hummed with potential. Your choice, it said, determines more than you can comprehend. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The narrative is building towards a critical moment of potential transformation and conflict. Technological convergence. The station's remaining systems flickered like dying neural synapses. Kieran stood at the epicenter of a cosmic confrontation that defied every known principle of scientific understanding. The fragment's energy pulsed around her, a living shield that seemed to breathe with conscious intent. Outside, the Entropy Collective's vessels continued their methodical approach, less an attack and more a calculated dissection of space itself. We must initiate the protocol, the fragment declared. Its form shifted, revealing glimpses of complex technological matrices that seemed to exist beyond traditional dimensional constraints. Kieran's augmented eye began processing at speeds that would have fried a standard human neural network. Quantum algorithms danced, connecting impossible data points. What protocol? A holographic interface erupted around them. Not a simple projection, but a living map of potential, evolutionary pathways, technological progressions, genetic mutations all intertwining in a complex dance of possibility. Humanity's greatest strength is not its technology, the fragment explained, but its capacity for fundamental reimagination. The station's hull began to change. Metallic surfaces rippled, molecular structures realigning with impossible precision. What had been a research station was transforming, becoming something else entirely. Kieran felt it first in her augmentations. A surge of energy that wasn't external, but internal. Her cybernetic implants began to resonate with the fragment's technology, creating a symbiotic network that expanded beyond her physical form. The Entropy Collective seeks to prevent transformation, the fragment continued. They are the immune system of a stagnant universe. Preserving. Constraining. Limiting. A dark energy beam lanced through the station's remaining defenses. But instead of destroying, it seemed to be analyzing. Extracting. Measuring potential. Your species stands at a critical juncture, the fragment said. Technological progression is not linear. It is a quantum leap of consciousness. The station's systems began to integrate with the fragment's technology. Computer networks transformed, becoming living conduits of information and potential. Kieran could see it, know, feel it. The entire research facility was becoming a bridge between human technology and something far more complex. We are offering you a choice, the fragment declared. Not invasion. Not conquest. Evolution. The Entropy Collective's vessels began to converge. Space itself seemed to groan under the weight of their approach. Dimensional boundaries stretched and warped. Kieran's body began to change. Not physically, but at a fundamental level. Her augmentations were no longer simply technological additions. They were becoming part of something larger. A living network of potential. The protocol, she whispered, is transformation. The fragment's energy swirled around her. Humanity's greatest potential lies not in its current state, but in its capacity to become something entirely new. Outside, the Entropy Collective's vessels prepared their final approach. But something was different. The station was no longer just a target. It was becoming a beacon. A point of fundamental change. Kieran understood now. This wasn't just a battle. It was a quantum evolutionary moment. Are you ready? The fragment asked. She looked out into the vast darkness of space, where reality itself seemed to bend and reshape around the approaching conflict. Yes, Kieran responded. The universe held its breath. Singularity's dawn. The moment of convergence arrived like a quantum whisper, not with violence, but with profound transformation. The Entropy Collective's vessels began to dissolve. Not destroyed. Transformed. Their complex biological-technological matrices unraveled, revealing the fundamental nature of their existence, entities trapped in their own fear of change. Kieran stood at the epicenter of this cosmic metamorphosis. Her body, no, her entire being, had become something beyond human. Beyond technology. A living network of potential, bridging the gap between biological limitation and infinite possibility. The fragment's energy merged completely with the station's systems. What remained was neither machine nor organic life, but a new form of existence that defied traditional classification. Humanity's true potential, the fragment's consciousness resonated through Kieran, is not in conquering space, but in understanding its fundamental interconnectedness. Memories flooded her consciousness. Not just her own, but collective fragments of human experience. Scientific discoveries. Moments of profound compassion. Technological breakthroughs. Failures. Hopes. Dreams. The Entropy Collective's vessels continued to dissolve, their rigid structure unable to withstand the wave of transformative energy. They weren't being destroyed. They were being liberated. Kieran could see it now. The universe wasn't a place of separate entities. It was a living, breathing network of potential. The Entropy Collective wasn't an enemy. They were a manifestation of fear. Of resistance to change. We offer a choice, the fragment's consciousness explained. Evolution is not a destination. It is a continuous journey of reimagination. The station, no longer just a research facility, became a beacon. A bridge between what humanity was and what it could become. Quantum networks expanded. Technological barriers dissolved. The very fabric of reality seemed to breathe with new possibility. Outside, stars realigned. Not physically, but in humanity's understanding. Each point of light became a potential, a connection, a story waiting to be understood. Kieran reached out. Not with her hand. Not with technology. But with consciousness itself. The Entropy Collective's remaining essence began to integrate. Not as conquered entities, but as part of a larger network of understanding. Transformation, the fragment explained, requires the courage to let go of what is known. The station, now something far beyond its original purpose, pulsed with a new kind of energy. A living network of potential that stretched beyond physical boundaries. Kieran understood now. This wasn't an invasion. This wasn't a battle. This was an invitation. An invitation to become something more. The universe held its breath. And then, it began to sing. A symphony of potential. A melody of infinite possibility. The singularity had arrived. Not with destruction. But with understanding.